Welcome to Odd Ifs, where we twist history with mind-bending what-ifs. Today's question is one that dives deep into music, media panic, and a cultural firestorm that almost changed everything. What if Marilyn Manson had been banned after the Columbine shooting? You remember the hysteria. April 20th, 1999. Two students walked into Columbine High School and changed America forever. In the aftermath, the world looked for answers, and for someone to blame. One name kept coming up: Marilyn Manson. His music, his image, his theatrics, politicians, parents, and the media painted him as the devil behind the tragedy. And for a moment, it looked like he might be erased from pop culture entirely. But what if that had actually happened? What if, instead of defending himself on the New York Times and CNN, Marilyn Manson was banned from radio, TV, and schools, and disappeared from public life? One man, one moment. And suddenly, the world of music, fashion, and even politics looks completely different. Let's rewind to 1999. Manson was at his peak. Mechanical Animals had just dropped, and his live shows were full of pyro, masks, and rebellion. But after Columbine, everything changed. Politicians called for censorship. Schools banned Manson shirts. MTV pulled his videos. In our timeline, he survived the backlash. But in this alternate version, he doesn't. He gets blacklisted. No more airplay. No more interviews. No more visibility. Just silence. And that silence changes everything. Without Manson as the face of shock rock, the entire genre shifts. Bands like Slipknot, Rob Zombie, and even Korn don't get the same level of attention or backlash. Without the media obsession with Manson's image, the link between violent music and teen violence fades from the spotlight. And Tipper Gore's crusade against dangerous entertainment collapses before it fully ignites. The PMRC never gains traction again. The idea that music could corrupt youth loses its power. And that means parental advisory labels don't stick around the same way, or disappear entirely. Without Manson's influence, metal and alternative music evolved differently. The early 2000s don't lean into theatricality and controversy. They lean into something else. Maybe emo, post-hardcore, or even synth-pop rises faster. Maybe bands like Linkin Park or My Chemical Romance never form, or form with a completely different sound. And what about the artists Manson inspired? Lady Gaga, Bring Me the Horizon. All have cited Manson as a major influence. Without him, would their music have ever existed the way it did? Would Gaga have gone full pop? Or would she have leaned into something darker or lighter? And here's the weirdest twist. Without Manson, the political backlash against rock music fades, and the conservative evangelical movement loses one of its most visible villains. That means no congressional hearings, no school bans, and no media witch hunts after music lyrics. Without that cultural war, music censorship stalls, and the First Amendment debate doesn't heat up the same way. The entire moral panic that fueled the early 2000s over video games, movies, and music never fully forms. And without that fear, the entertainment industry doesn't self-regulate as much, or at all. And what about the fans? Manson wasn't just controversial. He was a lifeline for outsiders. For kids who felt misunderstood, angry, or broken, he was a symbol. Without him, would those kids have found another voice? Or would they have stayed silent? Would mental health conversations have stalled? Would goth kids have been pushed further into isolation or accepted faster into mainstream culture? No shock, no headlines, no legacy. Just another artist lost to obscurity. One moment, the Columbine backlash, and suddenly the entire arc of music, fashion, And even censorship looks completely different. So what do you think? Was Marilyn Manson the villain or the scapegoat? And without him, would the world have been safer or just more boring? Drop your thoughts below. And if you loved this strange detour into music history, smash that like button, subscribe to Odd Ifs, and hit the bell so you never miss another bizarre what if.